Hello. So today I'm going to show you a couple of my travel journals. I like to take a journal with me whenever we go on a trip or a holiday so that I can remember it. Keeping a journal is like the best souvenir that you can get, and it's cheap. So I just like to take an hour or so out of every day that we're away and just record something in my journal. Sometimes I'll spend a lot of time, sometimes not so much, but today I'm going to show you two very different travel journals, and I'll start with one that I did in, what year was it? 2019. So this is from a trip that we did to Scotland for a big family reunion and my cousin's wedding. And so this is in a Winsor and Newton sketchbook. It might be a watercolour sketchbook, I think. It looks like watercolour paper. So I just get a journal. I don't know what I'm going to do in it until I start. And in this one, I just brought black pens with me. I made it really simple. So I didn't get too complicated. I probably brought a lead pencil and an eraser and some black pens. So yeah, let's have a look through. This is the first page, like a title page, and a unicorn, which is a symbol of Scotland, and then you've got a thistle, and it's very cute. So this, yeah, in this journal I do have writing as well, so I did jot down some memories. So I lived in Brisbane then, so we went from Brisbane to Singapore to London, and I've just got written that it was a long flight. Two very long flights actually. So this is my first picture, and I love whales, so I've just used a whale in the sky as a symbol of like traveling over the seas. It's very cute too. This was actually my first time in the UK. My mum's Scottish, but I hadn't been to the UK before, so we started out in London, and here I've got a quick drawing of the Tower of London and the ravens, the ravens that live at the tower. That's what that will be symbolizing. I think I did a lot of animals in this book to symbolize different places that we went. Abbey Road, Camden Markets, and then London to Liverpool. We hired a car and drove up to Scotland. So this is from the Lakes District. We drove from Liverpool to the beautiful Lakes District. It was nice to be in the countryside. You know, it's funny, all I remember of this trip, well, not all I remember, but the main thing is that I had terrible hay fever for half the trip. I got really, really sick actually. I got a terrible flu, but I remember the Lake District or Lakes District, whatever it is. I remember it being a beautiful area. And then from there, we drove to Glasgow. My family's from Paisley, which is just outside of Glasgow. So we spent some time there, and then we went to the Stirling Castle. So that's Stirling Castle there, and I must have seen some hares on our trip because I've drawn some hares there. And then I think this is, I'm not sure what this is, if this is meant to be Edinburgh Castle, maybe. But I must have seen a swan somewhere because this is a swan. And I've done it at night time. Oh yeah, Edinburgh Castle. The city was busy, but we had a good look around after coffee and scones. Yeah. Yeah, see, I'm feeling under the weather. So after a walk in town, I spent the afternoon in the apartment drawing in my journal. So my partner and my brother who came with us, they went out and hit the town, and I just stayed and drew this, which, you know, was kind of my ideal night in, to be honest. Um, and then we went to a wedding on Loch Lomond, and we went to this little island where there was like an old castle ruin. And I think I've drawn a bit of that there with this little, I don't know, is that like a field mouse or something? Some little critter. And then we started tripping around Scotland. We went up to the Highlands and we saw quite a few deer. So that's deer there, and then that's like near, don't know where that is, near Nevers Gorge. Yeah, we did a gorgeous walk there one day. That's a sketch I did there. I think my sketching has improved a lot since then, actually. I guess that was 6 years ago. It doesn't feel that long ago, but in some ways it does, in some ways it doesn't. That was before COVID, so BC or before COVID seems like eons ago sometimes. Oh, and look, here's a hairy coo. Oh, this must have been when we went to the Isle of Skye. So I've drawn these towers. I'm not sure what they were called. We drove through the hills and fields, stopping at points of interest. A pebble beach, a stone church in ruins, a waterfall crashing into the sea. We had a hearty lunch in a quaint village inn and then headed to the fairy pools. Here we walked on sodden earth along a waterway marked by a series of small falls and crystalline pools that sparkled and glowed in the glimpses of sun. A most glorious day. Oh, I miss writing. I should write more. I do like to dramatize things. Oh, and then we went, I don't know, we went to this beautiful little beach and we saw seals swimming and it was so gorgeous. So I remember drawing this. I was really sick. I had some kind of virus. I was sick for like the next week actually, but I remember being in like this delusional, like this haze, I think from the cold and flu drugs. And I remember drawing this. I remember going to the beach and it was beautiful. Like it made me feel so much better. Oh, and then this, I'm not sure, this must be another beach, but I remember seeing the dolphins too. These dolphins were like so close to shore. Where are we? Newcastle upon Tyne. Still 6, so I slept all afternoon and night. Oh, this is a drive to London after. So I'm not sure if I just love that beach, so I just drew another oceany picture. It's a very cute picture actually. Oh, and Loch Ness. Of course, we went to see Nessie. That was the weirdest tourist attraction I think I've ever been to. I do like this picture. It's so funny. I think I just made it up. That's us on the boat. Oh, fun. And then this is a badger. So I think this is like our last memory, my last drawing from England. And then we went to Paris after that for like 4 days where I was super sick. I had to go see a doctor. Um, so I drew that badger. That might have been in London. Yeah, and then we're in Paris now. And I drew this snail. Um, and then we got the train back to London and flew back to Australia. And that was the last picture I drew in this journal. So this is a nice memory of that trip. I mean, obviously I was sick for most of it, but I still had a good time, of course. So yeah, that's one travel journal. So one example of how I do it. And now I'll show you another one, which is more recent. And this is a different journal. So for our 30th anniversary of being together, my partner and I, we aren't married, but we have been together since we were 16. So it was recently our 30th anniversary. I wrapped this around the journal to keep it nice. But we just went to Tasmania for like 10 days. Tasmania is one of our favourite places. We just love it. I would love to live there one day, but yeah, there's not much work down there, unfortunately, for my partner. So this was just a little accordion book. So this pulls out like this. And this is of all the places that we visited on our trip in Tassie. So we started here in this place, Liz Dillon. I'm not sure how you say that, but we stayed in this gorgeous little stone cottage, and it was near the sea, and it was like something out of like an old Jane Austen book or something. It was like quite wild and like being on the moors or something. And then from there we went up to Wineglass Bay and we had a look at beautiful wine glass base. So I've just painted watercolors in this book. I just took a small set of watercolors with me and did these really quickly. You can see a few pencil lines underneath. I didn't labor over it. This is just like almost like a sketchbook. It's just to jot down memories. I find if I have a consistent method throughout my travel journals, then I'm more likely to do it. So I try and make it as simple as possible because honestly, these are like so valuable to me. These are like, I look at these more than I do photographs from the trip. So, and then we went to a place called Liffey Falls, which is one of my favorite waterfalls. It's just absolutely beautiful. If you ever go to Tasmania, you have to go to Liffey Falls. It's gorgeous. And then, of course, we went to Cradle Mountain, which was beautiful. It rained and rained and rained, so we didn't get to do even the standard walk. We just got drenched, and we didn't have proper cold, wet weather walking gear. So yeah, you have to be kind of careful. Like the weather can change really fast there. Anyway, we saw a wombat and echidnas, so I've got this beautiful memory here. Then we went down to Strawn and did a boat trip on the river. What's the river name? The Franklin River, which was incredible. And gosh, I like this effect here of the watercolors. Beautiful. So yeah, that's from there. And then we went back to go to the other side of Tassie, and we went past these beautiful waterfall, Nelson Falls. Waterfalls in Tasmania are like next level. They're not super huge, like super tall, but they're just gorgeous, like steps, just steps and steps. It's so pretty in this gorgeous rainforest. Then we stayed at a place called Petche's Bay. Do you know what? I remember painting this and really not liking it, thinking it was the worst painting ever. And now I look at it and it's quite beautiful. Like it's very subtle, but it's very pretty. This is why you should, don't just scribble things out automatically. Sometimes you just need, you know, like a few days to look back at it. In this case, it's been like a year or two. But yeah, I mean, it's just a memory, it's just a sketch of a memory. And then this is from the day before we left. We went up to Pinani, or forgetting what the colonial name of the mountain is, but that's from the top of the mountain at Hobart. And now I'll show you pulled out, how this pulls out like this. And then, so you can see these, and then it folds up. And it folds out like this. Isn't it lovely? It's kind of like a photo album. I just really love it. And then that folds up like that. So this is, it was a bit of ink on the back, ink or something. And this is in a beautiful journal I actually got on this trip. So I got this in a store called Marine Montague in Paris, and I kept it until years later. So I didn't use it until a few years later. But it's beautiful, and I would like to try and order more online actually. I wonder if I can, because it's just such a gorgeous journal. So it's actually made by Sennelier. He must do some collab with them. But yeah, so that's 2 examples of travel journals. I have quite a few more. So, but these are actually probably 2 of my favorites. So I might do some tours in the future. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it inspires you to take a journal with you on your next trip, because yeah, it's just a beautiful way to collect memories of your wonderful holidays. So thank you so much. Peace out. See you soon.